Keep recycling. Brought to you by Charleston County Environmental Management.
Welcome back to our program. This is the Transportation Sales Tax Program, also known as Roadwise. And I'm talking with the Deputy County Administrator of Finances, and he is Keith Bustrin. And he's been telling us all about how this program is working. And so far, it seems to be a success. But where do we go from here? There's still a lot of work to be done. Of course, we have 25 years or until we raise $1.3 billion. And oh boy, we got a ways to go right here. And the market's been up and it's been down, and so now it's steady, and so everything seems to be doing all right. The State Infrastructure Bank, SIB as some people call it. Would you just kind of tell us again, what is that?
It is a funding mechanism separate from the Department of Transportation, established by the state legislature, and it is periodically provided funding from the legislature. Local communities apply for, I guess they're called grants from the Infrastructure Bank, typically very large dollar amounts. The Infrastructure Bank requires a significant local match to get your project funded, and naturally, just like everything else in the state, as I said, 46 counties, there are probably 20 counties who have great ideas for transportation improvements. The county has been successful in receiving some funds from the Infrastructure Bank early on, and it was kind of tied to the half-penny sales tax. A grant request was made for the completion of 526 across Johns Island, and our match were many of the projects that were to be constructed by the half-penny sales tax. So our grant application was, our match for our grant application was road improvements to state roads that connected to or impacted the 526, the projected 526 completion route. And we were successful, and we received.
Now that was allowable. It's not like you had to put up money to match. You could put up projects to match, and that's what Charleston County did.
Yes, that was like an in-kind contribution. I mean, and certainly there's money behind those projects, but yeah, we committed to completing these projects.
Are those State Infrastructure Bank dollars given or provided by residents or by businesses? Where do those dollars come from? I am a little fuzzy on exactly where the state provides that, from what source of funds the state funds that, but yes, it comes, as it all does, it comes from residents, businesses, and so forth. But it is the state's money. It's not the federal money.
No, it's public. It's state public money. Yes.
Yeah, and so every once in a while, the SIB and all of their board of directors, etc., choose a project based on some criteria.
Well, based upon their funding, and if they have been receiving additional funding from the legislature. The legislature in the past few years was unable to really provide them much funding, but they are, after the economy has recovered to a degree, they have provided more funding for the SIB.
And so that kind of helps a lot. But I would imagine this one thing, I don't know how we can go on like this forever, frankly speaking. I don't know how we can keep coming up with sales tax projects and sales tax money, and the public's going to really, so is there some way that we can raise money similar to the SIB that's our own money, the state's money, I assume, and put it into a pot and then let people qualify, people meaning various counties qualify for those dollars? I mean, isn't that what we're doing with the SIB? The state of South Carolina is doing this on their own. This is their own money.
That's true. There ought to be some federal money, and there is federal money out there, but the federal money is oftentimes targeted for specific projects. It's also sometimes earmarked by the federal government for certain areas. So it is a competitive program, based a lot on need. And while I'm sure that folks in South Carolina don't want to hear that, I would think that demonstrated need for a lot more heavily congested urban areas throughout the United States might be able to make a better case in South Carolina. So rather than waiting around for federal money, South Carolina, the legislature has decided to at least try to attack the problem with the SIB and with the state's own money. Now, the State Department of Transportation also maintains roads, and an adjustment to the gasoline sales tax. Gasoline tax would be helpful to them because it's been flat.
Flat. It's
Yeah.
been 16 cents
Yeah.
for the last, I don't know, before I was born. I'm not quite sure if that's true, but it certainly has
Yeah.
been. And other states have gone way beyond. They doubled, tripled that kind of money. And we're still sitting on 16 cents because the legislators just don't want to move the money.
Right. Now, it will raise gasoline prices for sure, but it is markedly lower than a lot of the surrounding states and what the average is in the United States.
And we seem to rely on Washington to provide dollars for projects that we should be providing for ourselves to take care of these problems. I mean, 16 cents, 30 cents plus in other states,
Right.
and I just don't get it. I just don't get it. But anyhow, that's part of the whole ball game, I guess. As far as the possibility of raising additional dollars through another half-cent, well, I understand we can't do a half-cent sales tax. It's got to be a penny if we go to the voters. Or can it be a half-cent
My
sales tax
understanding is
again?
it could be another half. I think you're
Okay.
limited up to a penny.
Okay. And so what is the process for making that happen?
County council would have to decide on, well, most probably very similar to what they did before. It would be a good idea to have county council decide how the money was to be allocated. If it was going to be for green space and for mass transit and for roads, to make that decision up front. And also through community input, find out where the roads, the demand for the roads are, and then put that into a resolution on the ballot and be specific, because I think that's what council learned last time, is you need to be relatively specific on what roads are going to be improved with a half-penny sales tax. Put it before the voters and let the voters decide if the road improvements are worth another half-cent on the sales tax.
So we'll have to make sure that we know the roads that the public would be concerned about. That's going to be very important too.
That's what happened last time, and I think that would be an obvious question voters would ask. Why do you want to tax me an extra half-cent? For what? Well, here's the reasons. Here are the roads.
Well, this is some way to go out on this program, but I just have to ask you this because it concerns me a lot. And I don't understand what's going on these days as it regards monies for roads and some of our other needs. Didn't we not do a good job in anticipating all of this? I read a report that showed all of these bridges and roads that need work, not only in South Carolina, but in other states. Where did we go wrong?
I've read that too. In fact, I very recently read something, or had somebody give me some information that showed that the average age of bridges in the United States is over 40 years old. And the question is, why haven't we been replacing them? And I think replacement of a bridge with a bridge versus a new road that is obviously needed, if you have fixed dollars and you have to make a decision on to allocate the public monies, probably put it towards the road that solves a problem rather than replacing a bridge with a bridge. I understand that replacing a bridge with a bridge needs to occur because bridges have a lifetime and they wear out and they fall down, because we've seen that. But solving traffic problems versus replacing a bridge with a bridge, I think sometimes is a more attractive solution or project to place money on rather than simply a replacement.
Well, we'll see where it goes, and it's going to be left in the voters' hands again to help bring this forward, to make sure that we have better roads and bridges and improve our environment through those roads and bridges. And I'm expecting to see something positive, I hope. We've been talking with Keith Bustran, and he is Deputy Administrator for Finances here with Charleston County Government. and he's certainly enlightened us on what's going on in the way of money and expenditures of money, and the fact that we are moving ahead with some progress, but we have a lot more to do. This has been Cheryl Harleston with Transportation Sales Tax Program, also known as Roadwise. Until next time, we'll see you. For more information about the Charleston County Transportation Sales Tax Program and specific information on the road construction improvement projects, visit us on our web at roads.charlestoncounty.org. Also, connect with us on Facebook and Twitter at CC Roadwise.